The Parks Board meeting. Let's see, a roll call. So there's some new faces. So before, I'll make the announcement, but you'll see some new faces and we'll introduce them here in a minute. But Chris Bridges, here, all right. Sean Eileth.
Here.
Okay, Becky Carrier.
Here.
Shelley Johnson. Here. And Jeff Byerly.
Here.
All right. Let's see. That is it. We did have one other join. His name is Bill Skorick, but he is out of town until I believe May. And so he has not been sworn in. Approval meeting agenda, I do need to make one change. I just, under the announcements, under number 2, new board members, you'll see Rebecca Carrier and Bill Skorick. So I'm going to take Bill Skorick off and add Shelley Johnson and Jeff Byerly. So I need a motion to make that
I'll
change.
make that motion.
Okay, I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so I need an approval of the new meeting agenda, that the changes that have Becky Carrier, Shelley Johnson, and Jeff Byerly as stated into the new agenda. I need a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
I need a second. Second. Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Correct.
Aye.
Thank you. I need approval for the minutes from the meeting on February 14th. You remember we did not have a meeting last month, so there were no minutes. So I need a motion to approve the minutes from February 14th.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. All right. So announcements. Here we go. So Becky Carrier, Shelley Johnson, and Jeff Byerly are new. We're very excited to have you guys on board. We really appreciate the insight and your experience and knowledge that you've served on previous parks boards or have worked on parks in some capacity or another. So welcome. We're very excited to have you guys. We did extend to Bill Skorick, like I said, but he has not been sworn in and he's been out of town. So he'll maybe in May. Okay, and the other is another announcement. We put 2 new signs, or they're going up. Actually, Sean, I'm not sure if those got, well, I think they got ordered. The skateboard park.
Just received them today.
Oh, so
They'll be up by tomorrow.
we had some feedback from the community that it's still a little hard to find exactly where the skateboard park is. And so the feedback was maybe if we put a sign on Chancellor Lemur that said skateboard park this way. So the city said, yes, let's do that. And so obviously they just got delivered today. So
Cool.
Perfect. Thank you for getting on that. Okay, so public communication, 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes to talk about anything parks related. I don't think we have anybody online, do we? No. Okay, so I'm gonna set my timer for 3 minutes. All right. Anybody have a public comment back there? Jeff,
I have a question.
Yeah.
The north end of the Grand Canal,
Mm-hmm.
the property immediately to the west of the canal, is that a park or is it just city property that the city mows?
So where the golf course is?
It's in between the canal and the golf course, yes. There's a couple of picnic tables, there's a small parking space at the top there.
Yeah, that's Northeast Grand Canal. Yeah.
Yes, so,
Yeah.
but is that a park or is it just city property?
No, that's a park. That's Northeast Grand Canal Park, where the
Okay.
where the actual benches.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yep.
Well, the wooded area, and there are 2 small ponds there, I believe, are difficult to enjoy. I consider it kind of just a wasted area. Is there any possibility that the city could clean that up and possibly put picnic tables or something in there down the road? Any interest in doing something like that?
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out
Yeah.
for feedback. There are some people that like it wild like that. They even say they enjoy it now that the Grand Canal's gonna weed it over. there is, I walk down there probably twice a month, and there is a fair amount of wildlife. Especially birds that are actually in there that I didn't see back in 2018, 19, 20, when it was all when it was all just water. So I don't think the weeds are attractive, or the growth in that or is attractive. I'd like to see it removed, but there are people that like it is. I surprisingly run into 3 people out there that walk there daily and say that they like it kind of wild like that, so.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Anybody, any other comment? Andy, Jim? Yep, okay. All right. Old business. Oh, ARPA Parks Board request. So Becky Leach, I forgot to roll call Becky and Sean. I so apologize. Look, I was gone 1 month. We had one meeting that we didn't have, and I'm acting like I've never done this before.
I feel like I've been here forever, so.
I'm so
Go
sorry.
on,
So
everybody.
Becky Leach, project
Board
manager for City of Ocean Shores, Sean Keys, public works lead. They attend our meeting, which is fantastic because they're vital to what we can do and the feedback. So I know that yesterday you presented Becky to the city council to ask for some of the money from the ARPA funds be reallocated from the dog park to the sidewalk for the ADA swing.
Yeah,
And they approved that.
they did. So we needed $3,000 from the dog park to go to finish that piece for the sidewalks and the ADA parking to make the access for the playground equipment to be ADA accessible. And then talking with Angie and the mayor, they said, well, the dog park is, it's complete. So let's just shift the rest of the money for what we want to do for the overall Chinook Park, put the fence back up, get soccer nets, refinish the basketball court surface, which I don't think $17,000 is gonna be enough for that. So I don't know that all of that will get done this year, but that's what the discussion for future enhancements of the rest of Chinook Park. I mean, you could always forever enhance all the parks, but
Sure. Yeah.
immediate sort of go forward. So the ask to put the rest of the ARPA money from the dog park into Chinook Park. We still have 2 fire hydrants from the fire hydrant replacement project to put in both of the dog parks as well.
Oh, okay.
Which Public
That'd be
Works is
sweet.
gonna, put
Yeah.
those in and we'll paint them and make them cute too.
Okay.
So more on that, but it was approved to reallocate that money, and KR Homes is low bid to do the work for the sidewalks and the ADA parking space and the fence around the wheelchair swing that we'll be putting in. And Jenny is working with their office at KR Homes to get the paperwork drawn up, and then Jason will be the project manager for KR Homes, and I'll be working with him to get that project scheduled. And he had told me when he came down to bid the work and we walked the project that he was like, well, when do you want this project done? And I said, we're gonna be working with volunteers that Saturday, May 18th to get it. He said we could have it done by then if we're awarded the work.
Oh, good.
And then
Yeah,
luckily
that's
they were
great.
also low bid, so it worked out. So they should be able to have it done and we would be able to open when we're done building that
So
equipment.
So I remember when we did the dog park and there was some feedback from the people that use the dog park that they wanted some kind of a shed
Yeah,
to stand under. So, like if you think about when you're at a soccer, if you're watching professional soccer games, they have those clear plastic that they stand under. So something like that was the big feedback that people wanted some protection when their dogs are playing.
I've also seen at other dog parks, and it might be less expensive to do this, have a community build of like wooden type shelters
Okay.
out there, and that would withstand the elements and then Sean has a source that he was gonna look into, because another thing that we need to look at, it was just, one of the dog parks was unusable this winter. It just stayed a mud pit. So all size dogs were using one, which I think is fine in the winter time, and I hadn't heard of any issues, and that dog park is just incredible. But that one was definitely unusable. I mean, it was a swamp. It was it was a mess. So we definitely need to look in a turf for that as well. So I'm gonna ask for 25, 26 biennium budget, I'm gonna put it, I think we should ask for something.
Well,
for that.
right, so the Parks Board will present,
Okay.
so.
We'll
do
get
a
together and talk about
presentation
that,
in
we'll put
November.
together costs for,
Right, and so that is something that we'll be talking
Yeah,
about here
okay,
pretty
good.
soon is getting that Parks Board budget request going.
Yeah,
and that presentation
okay.
going, so.
and we haven't been a part of that yet in our roles,
No.
so we'll get together with you and
Yeah,
we'll
Yeah.
put together costs for that.
Getting back to the shelters,
Yep.
I think they wanted it for shade also.
Yeah,
yeah,
shade and rain.
mostly
all
rain,
sorts
but
of-
yeah, some shade,
Yeah.
for sure.
So
So
wood would be better.
Mhm.
So you're thinking a community build, so like just get somebody to donate the wood and have it built?
Yeah,
So Sean, would that be something that we would just put on top of the grass, or would we need to just put some concrete down?
Definitely concrete, I would say.
To stand under, I don't know.
I would,
it would have to be anchored.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would say we could put posts in the ground.
Posts.
Yeah,
And then if we ever wanted to, we could put concrete later.
Could we entertain the thought of, you know how they have the aluminum carports? You know,
Yeah.
the little ones,
Yeah,
they wouldn't rot.
sure.
And they're lightweight and,
Those would be, I think, maybe too big.
well, no, I'm thinking they probably have scaled down versions.
we would wanna have to, just for liability's sake, our engineer, the city engineer who's on contract, he drew up the plans for the whale and the razor clam bases, the concrete.
Okay.
Because they had to be structurally reinforced, it was $300 for him to draw up those
Okay.
bases, so he could pretty inexpensively draw up the bases, a base for something like that, so we could confidently build the structure and feel good about people safely being in it.
And Sean and Becky, I know you're out there, so if you have a comment, just, raise your hand, so, okay. I just know that was important, so.
Yeah.
So this $17,000, what happens to it? This 17,000 that's left over, it just sits?
It'll, most likely, it will go towards the fence at this point, because the length of that fence, based on what it costs to fence the dog park, I think that it will go towards putting that fence back up is what the mayor's gonna wanna see.
Okay, and then, we talked about, because initially, I think you guys remember, initially we were taking out that half basketball court in
Yeah,
the original design, and so we're leaving it. And Becky's going to change where the hoop is, so to move the hoop, so it's not gonna interfere if they're shooting a basket and then basketball goes, it's not gonna go into the playground area. So they're just gonna change the hoop.
are we gonna change it from the north side over to what would be the east side then? So they're shooting
south.
towards the dog parks?
South side.
They'd be shooting towards if it's on the north side now, it would go to the south side, so they're
Into the
shooting
parking
towards the
lot.
bathrooms
Bathroom.
instead of towards the kids.
Then they'll be running out in the parking lot and getting their balls.
It's this way towards, it's
It's on the fence
It's
line.
on the east side of the parking lot, it's further from the parking lot. I don't know if my directions are right, but
It seems
it's,
to me it's kind of
it's not-
adjacent to the
it's-
parking lot.
it's not, I think it's further that way, but we'll take a look at it,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty much lined up
we'll
with
take a look.
the edge of
We
the,
won't have them chasing the ball into the parking lot, if that's the case, we'll take
And-
another look.
on that note, putting the soccer goals in,
Yeah,
I take it that that's gonna be east-west also. And is that why we're putting the fence back in along the road so that the soccer balls
don't go into the road, yeah.
Cause I remember originally we didn't want the fence back because we were gonna put a walking trail around there.
Yeah, that was the original plan, and the people, when we did the community outreach, a lot of the comments were, we don't have a place to walk. It'd be nice to be able to walk through a park, and so
Yeah.
that's hence why we wanted to do the walking trail. And that's why the original plans asked for that. And we were hoping there would be enough money in the ARPA fund distribution that we received to do that walking trail, but we just don't have it. And just to bring you guys, that are new, the walking trail, it ran the exterior of Chinook Park, and that was a 1/4 mile, and then it had a cut in that was an eighth of a mile. So if you walk that trail, obviously 4 times exterior, that was your mile. So people could walk around and get some exercise that way, and that was the reason, one of the reasons why we didn't want to put that fence along Duck Lake Drive back in, because that would not have enough space, we thought. The second was, mowing for public works. It was really hard to get a mower in there, so taking that fence out allowed them just to be able to mow easier. And then plus where all the trees were, part of the reason the fence was removed is because the trees were rooting and causing the fence to fall over, plus the fence was old and rusted, and so it needed to be removed anyway, but, so we said, well, do we need to have a fence? We don't have to have a fence at a park. You would probably know best, so there's a lot of parks that don't have fences, but, so we thought just not spend the money. But Frank Eldwin, our mayor, and Becky felt that, no, we need a fence, and let's put some soccer nets in, even though our soccer field is North Bay Park, technically is North Bay. So I'm not sure, are we thinking about leaving the soccer field at North Bay, or just are we going to do soccer fields, or just one then? Because we're still within the National Park Association's numbers for having our soccer fields, because we have one, that's all we're required to have, and.
Mayor hasn't said anything about only having one soccer field.
Okay,
He
Okay.
does see a risk in not having a fence.
right,
At that park because of it being a dog park.
right,
People are supposed to keep their dogs leashed to walk them to the dog park, but the fact of the matter is, a lot of dogs are running from their cars to the dog park. There are going to be a lot more kids playing, so he does see a risk in the liability. And, hate to see there not be a fence there if a kid were to run into the road, and there is a big space there, so he thought it would be nice to see soccer nets there. So that's the reason for the fence to go there. The walking path, there was not ever gonna be enough money for that walking path, which we kind of were able to see once we bid out the gravel covering for the dog park. It was $56,000 to $75,000 to do the gravel for the dog park, and it was like sticker shock when we got that proposal back, so. But gravel is just so expensive. Someday, it is still definitely on a wish list.
Yeah.
We've got so many long-term goals for
yeah.
Goals are
for
good.
what we can do there, they really are. They really
Speaking
are.
of goals,
Such a great
When
park.
I first moved here, North Bay had soccer goals.
Yeah.
There, so they're out
They
there
still do.
sometimes.
They're the public works.
We have them.
Oh,
We
okay.
do.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
and
You
that's
don't have
gonna
to
be
purchase
replaced.
them.
yeah, they were, that's, I think, why they got removed, they were just an eyesore out there at North Bay getting,
And it's not
Damage.
full time, I think that we should remain keeping the soccer fields at North Bay
Yeah.
because it's an actual size of the soccer field.
yeah.
The other
Okay.
one would just be for
Just for
playing.
fun.
Playing
enjoyment.
and practice and
Yeah.
kicking the ball,
Okay.
yeah,
Younger kids would enjoy that better.
yeah.
Any, you guys have any questions about that? Any questions over, Becky and Sean? Okay, great.
Wait, how
Oh,
is
sorry.
that's okay, the volunteer piece going for the build of the equipment?
I mean, I just put it out there on Facebook saying on May 18th.
Is anybody signed up yet? Not yet.
No.
There was
So how
an
we did,
official way to do that.
yeah, there's not, so how we did the skateboard park, we just said come out and help.
Okay, and it worked, it was great.
It did work, so
So-
I'm like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, no,
Did-
that's,
okay.
that's fine, and I've got, I'll bring the volunteer forms and all of that, I have a bunch printed out from this pocket park that we did, so
Okay.
I'll bring more copies and we'll get together as time gets closer.
Yeah, so thank you for reminding me. So
Yeah.
May 8th, so the Chinook Park, the last piece of the ARPA funds is the playground, and we do have the playground equipment and the swing set. So we have a tentative date is May 18th. I think it's weather dependent. isn't it?
Yeah,
So it's May 18th. What time do you think we don't know. We don't know a time yet. It won't be at the crack of dawn, but
Are we
it'll be
putting in-
early.
are we
If we get
putting in-
enough people, we can probably punch it out in one day. So I know the foundation, when we did the skateboard park, the Ocean Shores Parks Foundation supplied coffee and donuts, and we can do that again, no problem. Sugar you up and carb you up and caffeinate you up. So, we'll do that for sure. We need some hands on deck.
before the equipment goes in, are we gonna prep the ground?
So I have a schedule and I'll leave a copy with the Parks Board members. What's on. There they are. What's on here is, I'll be ordering materials on 4/25. I'll start ordering the materials that we need, which isn't very much. Streets Department will be removing the current swing set, prepping the ground and removing the bark. They'll be delivering the equipment to the park on 5/15. So everything will be ready as of 5/15 for us to go in with Play Creations on 5/18 to do the build, weather depending, but these guys will have everything done for us. Yeah.
What's the footprint? Is it kind of,
I do, I have the schematics of it. The materials that I'm ordering is the 6x6 pressure treated wood, because we'll be building, the volunteers will also be building the 6x6 pressure treated wood perimeter. Part of the bid package is the ground cover, so they'll be blowing that in and we'll be raking it out, but we won't be building the perimeter until after everything is built, so we're not tripping over it and tripping over each other building that while others are building. Yeah, they said that's the best practice of what they've learned, is to build that after, so. Some of us will stay on a day or two after to build that.
Okay.
And it's pretty much what I just did down at this other park, because we use the same materials, so I'm familiar with what's.
Okay, that makes sense. So they blow everything in, but then the last thing we do is we dig out to put those six.
We'll
those
dig
pressure
out
treated.
and then we'll have them blow it in after.
Okay.
That's the way I see it, so we
Okay.
aren't working around the stuff they blow in. So hopefully they see it the same way and they'll stick around.
Okay,
If not, we'll
well,
make it
if
work.
not, it is what it is.
Exactly.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Some smart community members. Yes, so thank you for that. I think, is that it now on Chinook Park? We've been talking about this for 2 years.
That's exciting.
It is exciting. It's been fun to do that. Okay, is that it? Thank you. Gosh, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for reminding me. Sorry. Okay, so next on is the RCO grant, the 2025 RCO grant. So the Recreation and Conservation Office is allowing another deferred maintenance grant for parks. Specifically, they did it in 2020. Well, this year, so it was last year you had to apply for it. We applied just to bring the newbies up to date. So we did apply for this RCO grant that would have been for this year for Emerson Park, which is our tennis courts. It's a grant that's a no match from the city. And it's up to $100,000 and it's specifically for deferred maintenance. And so we applied, we were not awarded the grant, and we were not awarded the grant because of our socioeconomic. So they awarded it to cities that didn't have as much money.
Okay.
And so we scored high in the need. They said, yes, you have a need, definitely, but we didn't get the grant. So they are allowing another opportunity for the cities to apply for another grant, same $100,000 deferred maintenance, no match from the city. And before, when we had our grant coordinator, Sarah Bisson, I said, should we go for the same park? And she said, I suggest go for a different park. And I said, okay, so then we talked about it. So we want to do the baseball diamond over at North Bay. It's used currently by the high school men's baseball team. But it definitely needs some help. It needs to have a fence, it needs to have netting, it needs to be, the infield needs to be redone. So we're gonna go for that. I know Becky, Sean, you were gonna talk with Austin about getting him involved. He is the high school men's baseball coach.
I did have a conversation with him. One of the projects that he's working on specifically is trying to get the baseball diamond here at the school back up and functioning. So he's pushing a lot of his energy and ability to raise money towards the one here at the school. He was really excited the fact that we were trying to make it better and trying to make it a viable place for the team to play baseball because we just don't know how quickly they're going to get this one redone. So he was really excited about it. I went out 2 weeks ago and watched a baseball game there, and it definitely needs some help. It just there's certain parts of the infield that aren't consistent, and I think it'll be a really big upgrade and a really awesome place to play baseball for the kids.
All right, so thank you. So we run into just one major problem that I'm seeing is we don't have a grant writer. So we don't have to submit this until September. Sorry, thank you, Chris. Becky.
I've got a question about that grant. Maybe this is something you can bring me up to speed on, Kristen. The finance piece, are they letting us regress our city income?
I don't know.
It's a statistical method of accounting for why we might look like we have a lot of money, except that we're one of the most impoverished school districts in the county. So what we can, some grants will they call it regressing the income. There's some reason that they think we have money, and we probably should identify that and see how they're doing their income count.
Okay. I don't know. I do know that might, if they'll allow it, that would probably work for the North Bay Park, because the school does use it. So if we could take that piece and take our
let me get up to speed on that, because there may be, I want to take a look at the grant requirements and figure out why do they think we've got all this money. Sometimes it's just it's like doing your taxes, right? If it might look like you have a lot of income, but it also might look like we have a lot of expenses too.
Right. Excuse me.
Let me take a look at that. There might, if we have high need, we've already met that threshold. Let's see what we can do to get within the qualifiers for income too.
Okay. So are we anywhere closer on a grant writer? Do you know?
Scott is writing grants for us.
Scott is
writing them.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
and we're close to having a back-end person for financial follow-up on them once we have them, but Scott is writing grants.
Oh, great. So we just need to follow up with Scott then.
Yep.
On this. Okay. We still have a little time, and we obviously have some time that we can get bids together and do that kind of stuff. I think that last year we submitted in the middle of September, so I don't foresee that being any different.
September-ish is when we think it's.
Okay. I'll have to take a look. And Becky Carrier, now we have two Beckys. I can email you the RCO grant information, so I can do that.
Perfect. I'll take a look at it and contact Scott and see if there's a way we can massage that income piece so that it's a better fit.
I can email it to the board. That's not a problem. I'll just email it to the board, so everybody can take a look at it. But anyway, so that's where we are with that grant request. I don't know. Hopefully we can get it. I mean, I guess they had, I think the state said last year that grant, there was over like $20 million requests, and they were only giving out like 2 million. I mean, it was like this huge request.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where we are with that. Okay, so anybody have any other questions about the RCO grant? I know Sean had to get off, so he's not here anymore, but any other questions about the grant? Nope. Okay. So park map flyers. So actually, Nicole, this is where I need you to pop this up. So in order to be part of that park comprehensive plan, we had to update our parks map. And then in doing that, the foundation, Parks Foundation, actually has created a trifold that we're hoping that we can get funding to give out to people. But besides that, I think this is it. I think we are actually done with updates. What we added is if on the beach side, you'll see down below Tourist Boulevard is number 15. That is the off-leash area for dogs.
Good.
So we've added that. It's not really a city-owned thing, but it's something that people are always asking, where can I take my dogs to go on the beach? And there is an off-leash for dogs. We added that. We added the High Dunes Trail, number 14, which is up at the top. We took out a couple of, like, it seemed like every park said you could kite, you can fly a kite, you can fly a kite, fly a kite. We're like, well, okay, well, not really, but there's power lines and things like that. But most people fly kites on the beach.
Yeah.
So just to kind of make some room and clean it up, we made it a little more crisp. So when it does print, it's a little nicer. Let's see what else. We got an email. So the Parks Comprehensive Plan is out, and so, but somebody was taking a look at it and saw our parks map. And so I do want to bring this to your guys' attention because she wanted me to bring this up to the board. And it was an email from a citizen. And she was concerned, if you look at number 12 on the map, which is the purple, she noticed the two triangle parks marked as number 12 appeared to be located on the Weatherwax property. One tag is what is known as the point, and the other is on the east side of the lake. This is absolutely not allowed. You cannot put a public park on the Weatherwax mitigation bank. You can't even walk in these parts of the bank. It is marked with no trespassing signs all around. If you have already done something there, you'll have to undo it and possibly restore it. Please respond with your action on this item. And she addresses to the Parks Board, so that's why I'm bringing it up. Well, I responded. I said, thank you for your comment. I said, however, the Triangle Parks 1 and 2 are not located on any Weatherwax property and are actually across the lake from the property. If you would look again at the map, then number 12 is a key code with an arrow pointing to the small green circles indicating where the maps are located or parks are located. The parks are located off of Duck Lake Drive and Lake Bay Loop. So I hope that clears up any confusion. So I think she thought that number 12 was the park. But if you look, there's a 12 and there's an arrow going down to that small green circles.
There's water in between the 12
And there's water in between, right, the Duck Lake. So we are not, there's no parks in Weatherwax. We know that Weatherwax is a wetland area. We know that we're the only wetland area that's allowed to have a trail through in the state of Washington. And that is part of the trust of the Weatherwax property. So just to clarify, I can see where that's I can see where it's a little confusing, and she thought that we were talking that number 12 is the actual Triangle Park. And I might be able to shift that 12 down, that one on the left down. What do you think, Nicole?
I can take it and flip it,
Flip,
like literally just take that whole box
okay,
and reverse it the other way.
okay,
So that they're both angled the same way.
okay. Well, she was concerned that the other 12 was on the estuary area too. I'm not sure. I'm
There's
not-
no winning.
I mean, so suggestions, I mean, I guess I knew that we didn't have a park in Weatherwax, but obviously someone was confused, so I wanna make sure that it's,
Maybe make the green triangles a little bit bigger.
okay,
That might, cause it might be difficult that,
Okay.
they're not finding the green
Okay.
triangles, cause that's the only thing that's different is that the triangles are smaller than the other park
Because the
areas.
park's so tiny.
Yeah.
Becky's got her hand raised.
oh, Becky.
You know, I think what I would do is if you'll push that, if you look at a comparison of say 15, if you'll move the box for the 12 into the estuary so that it's clear that it's pointing to something.
Oh,
And what if instead of having two 12s, you draw the arrow, have two arrows from the 112, so have a big 12. I'm afraid if you draw those triangles any bigger, you're not going to be to scale on your map. But if we take that that purple 12 box, move it into the light blue area, and then draw 2 arrows off of it. Just have 112 and have the 2 arrows point to the 2 things. I think that would be clearer.
Okay,
I can try that.
okay, thank you. That makes sense. So just have 112 with 2 arrows.
Yeah,
Okay.
and move the box into the light blue area for Grace
Okay.
Harbor so that people know that we're not putting a park in the middle of an estuary.
Water, okay,
Right.
thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, perfect, yeah, that would simplify it. Okay, and you think you can do that, Nicole? If not, I can, okay, thanks.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the plan for disseminating this map?
So it is on the city website, and then the plan is, and actually I'll get to that, I think, did I talk?
Oh,
Nope, actually, nope. So the Parks Foundation applied for LTAC money to have these printed and distributed to the motels and hotels and the convention center. And the LTAC meet on the 22nd of April where we present.
This is the paper version of the.
Yes, and
I thought that
we
was
do
23rd.
22nd. So, yes, so we did have an older map done in January with the trifold, and I think we took all yours, Chris, sorry, we did. We had some left over from the health fair, and so we took them to the convention center. So, but the feedback was, well, we left off a couple of parks on accident, so, and then we've been tweaking it ever since, and then the other is, we decided that we needed to add the QR codes for, well, we had a QR code for the parks map, but we added the QR code for waterways and for the golf course. So people have access to know where the waterways are and the canals and the openings to launch. And then obviously the golf course is city owned, so it's an outdoor thing to do. So we added those. So fingers crossed, the LTAC will fund supplying these. If not, then we would have to go to council and ask to fund these and have them at the convention center.
What was the amount that we're asking for?
The foundation's asking for just over $5,000 for 10,000 maps.
Do you have it in Word with the QR code by chance that I can send to the sign person for the Dunes Trail sign?
I have for the QR codes only.
And the map, she's wanting both in Word for printing the sign because it does better than PDF, she said.
Well, this new one
Yeah,
is crisper. So
okay.
we had that was one of the feedbacks.
Yeah.
And so when it was being printed off, it's not very crisp, and she tried to tighten it up.
Okay, when Nicole can I get the copy when Nicole makes the update?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
And because that's all I'm waiting for to order the final sign.
Oh, I can email you the QR codes right away.
We'll put the maps going on it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, and I'm sure if the PDF still isn't good enough, I'm sure I can probably get
A Word
Word version.
Okay.
I'm sure.
I'll let you know if she needs it.
Okay, so any other questions on the map? This map might be all of what I'm able to do. This map has been haunting me for months.
You and me both.
Yes, I know, it's a lot, it's like an onion, I understand, there's a lot of layers on this map, so working and trying to recreate it, fix it has been very difficult, so. Okay, moving on, basketball courts.
We've got them all pressure washed. We pressure washed everything in North Bay Park.
That's great.
They're all pressure washed. I haven't installed the netting on the back, on the fence behind it yet.
Okay,
It's on the list.
the new nets though?
We have the nets that we found in the little building there, the little green nets that are gonna go on there so that it blocks the lights from the neighbor. Cause they've been complaining that there's people out there using the
I thought that's
basketball
what you were
courts.
talking about, no, so the actual net that,
Oh,
the
those nets,
basket-
I haven't installed those nets.
Okay.
Think actually we need to talk about replacing the backboards. After I cleaned them and whatnot, they kind of look like they're falling apart, so we need to figure out who's gonna, what we can do about getting the whole backboards replaced. We
Okay.
straightened the posts, you know, I took the equipment out there and pushed them back and they're straight now,
Oh,
but the
okay.
boards are,
Oh, Jesus.
they're questionable.
It's not one
I don't want someone to go up there and try and like slam dunk it or something and rip it right off the wall, off of it, cause it's rotten plywood behind it.
Yeah.
Someone could get hurt.
Well, the Parks Foundation supplied the netting that goes, the ball goes through. And if they're not too much, I'm sure the foundation would be more than happy to supply the backboards. It just depends on the cost. I know that the foundation's going to do the labor to do the striping when the weather's better, the new striping.
It's all clean, I edged all the way around the court and pressure washed it. And every single thing in the whole entire park has been pressure washed, so.
Okay,
The bathrooms, the basketball court.
Great.
The basketball, the baseball, backstops, the seating area, you know, the bleachers, the picnic area, all that stuff's been
Okay.
pressure washed.
and then we have new signage for the lights.
Those are all done.
Those are all up.
Mhm.
Did we get the new sign at the park?
For the outside, the
Yeah.
big one?
The big one?
Installed.
Nice.
Yeah, so we have lights now at the basketball, so everybody, let everybody know there's lights functioning, working on a timer, 1 hour timer. It's pretty cool.
They can play late.
They can play late. That's-
Till 9 o'clock.
One thing, the backboards, don't they have, make those out of fiberglass now? Is that plywood?
Yeah, so the front side of them are plywood and the back side are, it's kind of embossed wood into it, so. I fixed it, you know,
Okay.
with a new bolt and put it in there and whatnot, but it's not gonna last long. It definitely needs new basketball hoops, or
I could take a look.
the hoops are fine, the boards just need to be replaced.
Okay, all right, thank you. Really appreciate that. Okay, so any questions on the basketball courts? I'm sorry. I'm just moving right along here. No. Okay, you're good? Okay. Skateboard park lighting and cameras. So we've talked about this in the past. I feel like it just kind of got lost. So I want to bring it back that I really think now that it's getting to be summertime, the lighting probably isn't as much of an issue as it was in the winter. But I still think that we need to look at lighting, and I really think we need to look at cameras and know that that area, now that we have the big half pipe, it does block an area that you can hang out in the back. And I've been there when, you know, there's been some kids hanging around and a little questionable. I'm not saying that they weren't doing anything bad. It just seemed a little awkward, their behavior. So I'm like, I think that we just need lighting, and I think we need cameras. And then we've also talked about cameras at North Bay because we've had vandalism in the bathrooms. And now that we have Chinook coming up and that's starting to get busier, is that not a bad idea to also have cameras? So I think we need to really start talking about some cameras on our parks. And that might be something that we ask for in a budget request. You know,
Is that something the foundation can do?
no,
Okay.
no, that's definitely a city, and that's also, I mean, a police, you know, that's
Yeah, well,
something
that's what I
that
was gonna
police, is that something that comes out of their budget? Maybe we split I don't know. but-
Yes, do you want something that's tied into the city system so that the police can see it, cause that's a whole.
That's up to
That'd be
Chief
good.
Logan,
Yeah.
talking to her about
Yeah.
that, but something, I think we just need to really need to start seriously having this
I
conversation
agree.
Yeah,
about it. And I know that Sean, you had talked to got some PUD poles for the skateboard park for lighting or something in the
Yeah.
past.
We also have talked, and I brought it up with Scott before and Chief Logan, about some mobile recording cameras that are on like a trailer, like say like you see a Safeway.
Yeah,
And they've been talked about before, so
okay,
maybe when that's brought up to them, we can remind them that we've spoke about it before, and we could use them at the dumpsters. for illegal dumping and, you know, be possible when we have, there's a certain time of the year that, we get a lot of poaching out here for our
Yeah.
animals.
Yeah.
And so we're thinking about putting them up in high poached areas.
Do they have to be so visible?
Well, I mean, I
would
think so, because then it would make it to where they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but if somebody, you know, with a bad intent, they'll see it at this park and go, oh, we can go to this park because the eyes are at that park.
Sure, sure.
I mean,
It's
you're never gonna stop it completely, right? We're just trying to make it so it's not as convenient.
Wouldn't some Ring doorbells be cheaper? Just
You need Wi-Fi, you need Wi-Fi, and that's a problem
There you go.
at Chinook Park.
Yeah.
There's no Wi-Fi out there, and then you need North Bay, you have at least the airport, but I think that's still not a good enough range. In the skateboard park, the closest would be the
Ace.
convention center. Well, we can't tap into Ace's hardware. Well, I kind of think, but I can't do it.
I thought it was in the air.
So anyway, but we just have to really think about this. And I think when we're doing our presentation, now that we've done so much to the parks, that we need to say, hey, we really need to take a look at this. We need to make sure that they're not getting vandalized, and this is a really good way to do that. But lighting, it's just a safety feature issue, because we've seen skateboarders at night with their headlights on because they want to skate at night.
Yeah.
And so
I have an estimate built.
Oh,
so
you
we can-
do?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, for lighting? Okay, so when we're doing the budget request, okay.
Well, on that same vein, the bathrooms at North Bay with a auto lock on them, remember we talked about that?
Well, we did talk about that, that's right.
Do either, cause you can just order and install those.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
Oh, you've probably done that before.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were waiting to make
Yeah, what
sure
those?
that the ones at Chinook Park we liked them. I
Yeah.
think that was what we were waiting for.
Yeah,
We're like, well, let's
exactly.
just
We
not,
Are we
How
there
many
yet?
complaints are we gonna get?
We're there,
Yeah.
like them, they're great.
we only got
Good.
one or two complaints.
Yeah, with daylight savings time.
That was
Change.
it,
Hasn't been bad.
that was it. Yeah, they were locked.
Yeah.
An hour.
Cause we didn't
We
take that
forgot.
into, consideration.
So I think that's a really good, and those are not expensive. I think that's in our budget.
I would say that
Let's do it.
They were 600 a piece that
I
we
would
have.
say it's about $1,000 to $1,200 for the,
I think they were $700 with each for those, and there would have been a markup on
Right,
them, so
right,
$500 a piece, maybe, yeah, you said that.
yeah.
Who,
Okay.
who gets
Thanks,
the,
I forgot about that.
What's your markup?
who gets the order for that?
all right?
So we're gonna give you permission granted or?
We would have to
We just give my
bring that
guess.
to the mayor
It's up to them.
and see if they're,
Yeah.
I'll write it down.
Yeah,
I'll bring it up to them and see if they'd like to have us, install, locks at
Yeah.
North Bay.
I mean, I would definitely let them know that it's worked out really well at Chinook, so this would be a positive thing for you guys.
Yeah,
How
and
that
that's where you
works.
had found people sleeping in that, in the
Yeah.
North Bay bathrooms, right? So
Yes.
benefit from doing that.
Yeah, okay, thanks for that, Chris. Okay, so anything else on the skateboard park lighting and cameras? Becky's good, nope, you guys good? Okay, moving right along. Well, here we go, Parks Board budget request, so, this is about now, time, April, May. So we will be invited to present to council for the next budget cycle, so it's every 2 years they do the budget, so we're coming up on the end of it, so. I think it was. We presented in November. Because you need council to vote on it twice, so we present in November. What we want to see done in our parks, how much it's gonna cost, maintenance. To keep those parks up, all that fun stuff, so. I will be looking to do an ad hoc committee for that. I was part of the budget request ad hoc last time. And then the other two are not on the board anymore, so. We don't have to do that right now, but think about that, so the next meeting, I'll probably be putting together an ad hoc for that, and if you wanna be on it, think about it. it entails PowerPoint presentation, putting together. If you're good at that, I would really appreciate somebody being on the board that's tech savvy, because I did it last time and it was okay. It wasn't bad, wasn't great, but well, we were the only ones that actually had a PowerPoint presentation, so
Cool.
it was kind of neat, but anyway, so we can do that. So just think about that, but next month, we for sure are gonna get an ad hoc and get together and get that going, and we'll be getting together with Public Works and getting what that entails. All right. Parks Comprehensive Plan, I am very happy to report it is out to the public. This has been, what, Chris, is it the year and a half, 2 years in the making for this? I mean, you, Heidi, and I started this.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
We got it as far as we could take it, which was probably, I would say, 90-something% completed.
Yeah.
Presentation with graphs and everything else. So it is on the city website. So if you just go straight to the city website, you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see it's there. Click the link. It is long. The actual plan itself, I think, is only 56 pages, 60 pages. It's the appendixes that make it so long. And why it's almost 200 pages, over 200 pages, Chris.
Yeah, but
is because
that's nothing.
it's because of the appendixes. So we had to put the watershed Northeast Grand Canal project back in there, our community outreach that we did, every single question we asked, the responses to that. So it made for a very long comp plan, but it's really not the plan itself.
Right.
It's really the appendixes. So don't get overwhelmed when you see all those pages, but it is big, it's out there. Public comment period is 30 days. It started April 8th and it goes to May 8th. There is an email that if you have a public comment, I think it's public comment is it public comment or public comments?
I have it in
At
newspaper in my car. There's an article in today's paper about it.
Oh, perfect.
I should have brought it in. I can go get it.
No, it's okay. She can look it up. So, but anyway,
It's not too long, but
it's public comment or public comments at osgov.com.
No S.
Public comment, okay. So the first reading for city council will be the next council meeting, which is April 23rd will be the first council reading. You can certainly make a comment then too. It might just be easier just to give yourself time. I've noticed that it's out there on Facebook. I have noticed there've been some comments. One person commented that we need parks.
we do.
I'm like, we have over 15 parks, so I'm not sure what your question, like, he's like, no, those are private parks. We need public parks.
Oh,
So I really recommend to read the comp plan first before making a comment. That would help us. But I'm really excited that this is finally going forward. You guys know how important these are to go for grants. We need an active parks plan. So that tells the RCOs of the grants of the world that the city council is behind us and they're supporting what we've said that our parks need. So get out there, make your comments, and let us know.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned about people who may not have access to technology.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering if we can do a hard copy of the plan in a notebook here in the library and
Yeah.
offer people just a form that they can fill out with their comments so they don't have to.
Yeah,
Computers.
Excellent.
that's a great idea.
Cause I like a hard copy myself, but I just feel like it kind of,
Nicole, what do you,
it goes through your.
do you want me to do that or does the city clerk do that?
Computer screen for that.
Sometimes the library does stuff like that themselves as well, cause she has like publications and stuff that she wants posted, so I don't know if that's something that she would wanna do.
I can talk to Keitha.
Cause if she wants our office to do it, we could do it, I don't.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Thank you
People
for
know
that.
where the library is.
So
Okay.
the other part of that mentioned this earlier too, and it seems like with the time, this is an impossible task, but is there some way to get to a thumbnail of it? A lot of people are gonna click on a document and see 200 and some
Mhm.
plus pages, and
Mhm.
they're not gonna read anything on it.
I
Is there
know.
some way to get to a highlight of it?
I could ask HBL, Richard.
So this is not your time for public comment, but specifically something I've just learned with the new PDF software. I'm working with PDF Gear. It's right now, it's free software, and you can click on a thing to condense. And the example that I looked at condensed a 2,000 gigabyte document down to 1,000 gigabyte document by summarizing it.
Yeah.
It's free. And so you just use PDF Gear, just Google PDF Gear, download it, it's a free download. Put your PDF comp plan into PDF Gear and click on summarize, and I have to find it again if you go to that step to coach you how to get to the summarize.
Is that what you're talking about though, Jeff? Are you talking about like you can go here to read about this part? Like,
I think a summary makes sense.
A summary.
So it doesn't, and yeah, I
Well,
guess, yeah, AI
if
could
we-
probably take it and make it any length you want it.
we can't really do a summary though.
Highlights or something. I worry that people are just gonna go, ugh, you know, it's too much. I'm not gonna read through all of that. Right? I did see the first one, you guys, the one that you were working from. I know, that was just craziness.
Yeah.
But if we want people to read it before they give comment, then we have to make it in a form that is gonna be accessible to them.
I would offer another suggestion, right up in the opening paragraph. Make a strong point that the comp plan itself is only, what you say, 56 pages.
Yeah.
And the other pages are all of the supporting documents,
Mhm.
and that will convince some people say, oh, okay, I can do 56, I just can't do 5,600.
Yeah. Well, some of those supporting documents are important though too. Like
Yeah.
somebody had a comment that they wanted the Northeast Grand Canal to be a kayak launch. Like, yep. The watershed did that. That's in the appendix. That's in the part of the appendix. So yeah, I'll talk to HBL and see what they can do. No, it's good. Okay.
Yeah, we have to think about the literacy level of folks too.
Mhm.
There might be a lot of words in there that are just beyond
Yeah,
understanding.
that is true.
And it would be interesting, what they can do for a quick summary without, I understand.
Mhm.
There's
Yep.
not a lot of money to chase it down, and it probably needs to be proofed before
Yeah. Yes, I've read that Trump's plan lots, proved it lots. So yes, all right. Proof I hear ya. Okay, I'll email them and I'll talk to Keitha about that too. That was a great idea. Becky, do you have any questions about the comp plan? No, okay. So new business, so moving on. So we are the only board that does not have bylaws. It's not been a big deal. It only becomes really a big deal when you are, looking for, new officers. So technically, usually how a board works is you rotate officers, right? Everybody kind of changes. It's not, I've been the officer since 21. And just because we didn't have bylaws, like I didn't know, I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm supposed to be in charge, the president for this long. I don't know. It's just kind of.
I think it was that way before.
It was, we've never had bylaws.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to Sarah. I said, shoot, are we supposed to change officers? And she's like, well, you don't have bylaws. And I'm like, okay, but she goes, and you're the only one. So it might be a good idea. I'm like, I think you're right. So what I'd like to do is create an ad hoc to create bylaws. Now, the good part about this is we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Apparently, one of the boards, specifically the radio board, I've been told, has fantastic bylaws. And so I do have them. So I'm wanting to put together 3 people from our committee to get these bylaws up and going. And do I have any Any takers, anybody,
Have you-
or I'm gonna have
Have you
to?
seen the form that we're gonna follow?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've read.
How many bullet points are there?
Before you volunteer.
The good news is, Chris, the good news is, Chris, the radio board has a lot more stuff than we do, so we don't have
That's
to
true.
do all those, so we can scratch off a lot,
Are you
so.
picturing this being 1 or 2 meetings and done, or you think it's gonna be more time than that?
It's up to the ad hoc, Becky, you have a question, are you raising your hand to be on it? Oh, you wanna be on it? Okay, thanks, volunteer, there's one, I'll be on it, I just need one more. Anyone? Thank you, Shelley. All right, we got it. So we got Becky Carrier, Shelley Johnson, and myself to do the bylaws. I really don't think it's gonna be that hard. We're gonna be plagiarizing from radio board, copy paste.
It's
So,
mostly about term limits,
it's
like
term limits and if, you know.
election dates.
Yeah, and I think, you know, your yearly annual to do that. I mean, we need to have something
I agree.
more formal.
I definitely.
It needs to happen, so. All right, so I'll email you guys what I have and we'll go from there, but I really don't think it's gonna take that long. We could probably have something by the next Parks Board meeting to the board.
Is that something that gets registered with the city or how does it work?
They filed with, I don't know, probably on our documents.
Yeah, Sarah just puts them with
Yeah.
the Parks Board
Our
documents.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
Yeah, perfect. Discussion, I don't have anything to discuss, so reports, let's see, so this is the section, and you guys, are new, you're not on it yet, but this is a section where we just talk about like what we've done, like I attended the council meeting the other night, I've been working with HBL on the parks comp plan. And I've been working on the park map flyer, so it's kind of where you tell people what you've been doing, in regards to the Parks Board, and since you guys are new, obviously you probably don't have much to report, but Chris, do you have anything to report?
I do not.
Okay, great. This is a time, so Becky and Sean, I know we kind of talked already, but do you have anything else you guys want to report, talk about?
I can, so I have, installed boards around the small dog area. As
Thank you.
requested by Scott Anderson to make sure that dogs do not get out of the park.
Thank you.
So now there are boards all the way around the small dog area.
It looks good too, thank you.
No problem.
So I have a question really fast, because I saw that comment on Facebook, was
Yeah.
that on the exterior?
Yes,
Or was
on the
it on the-
exterior and down the middle of between the two.
Okay, those little guys.
I didn't do the
They got
big dog
it.
area yet, I probably will get to that because we rotate that area. So, we're gonna move that over to that area too, but I just wanted to give them the sticker shock of, $750 for those boards. So.
Did that come out of ARPA funds?
He asked me to do it, so I did it, and, it
Well,
was
it
kind
has
of, so we're gonna call it at that for now, and then if it gets requested again, we'll do the rest. But
Thank you.
Scott told me to go ahead and handle that, and I did. So we're doing with that, and, so South Grand Canal dock repairs, we have the dock locked up right now, it's sinking on one corner.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
for telling
thank
me that,
you.
'cause that was on my.
So the dock is being repaired by Roglands, they got awarded the bid today, and they will be getting us a schedule to when they're gonna be fixing the dock.
So if you could you let me know and I can put that on Facebook?
Sure.
For the parks
Certainly,
page, so
Yeah.
it's under repair right now, and that's why it's locked. I think
Yes.
somebody had, okay, great.
Yeah, I saw that on
Okay.
my.
Thank you.
My check out.
alright.
Perfect.
North Bay Park, playground bridge and, platform, are being replaced right now. We ran into some issues where they didn't send us all the parts. So they are making them, so they're about 2 to 3 weeks out. So right now, the play equipment at North Bay Park I'm trying to get it up and working before the, fishing derby. There's
Okay,
a lot of children there using the, playground. We're trying to get it fixed again, so playground, bridge repair, and platform are out of order right now, so at.
Just that piece of it, right?
Just, yeah, so they can still go up on both ends and play with the, you know, come down the wall, go over to the monkey bars,
Okay,
that kind of thing, but the bridge is closed down, I got big sheets of plywood across it so that they can't use them.
okay, I can put that on the Facebook
The
as
derby's
well.
coming up, isn't it?
It is, it's in 2 weeks.
I thought it would be
So
in the big
I'm
one, yeah.
hoping to drive, I've got them a little expedition on the platform,
Thank you.
so we're trying to get it done by then. That's it. For parks, what we've been doing at the park. I already told you about the pressure washing of North Bay Park, it's all done. I have a little bit more work as far as getting the shades for the lights, I guess, is basically what we're talking about, because the neighbor has some complaints, but they do understand that they move next to a park.
Yeah, was that across the way or behind?
Yeah, it was from across the way, but the new people are, the last ones moved away from there because of that, they said. So when I talked to her, so I just wanna make sure that the new people that moved in there don't have that problem, so. We already planted trees across there 3 years ago, and supposedly it was supposed to get blocked out, but. You know, those lights are bright. And I think that was some of the reason why those lights got taken down before. But, we're rolling with it right now.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
You want the kids to play and be outside, and you wanna be respectful and hard, and you're next to a park, that's a tough one.
And I do have a note here for, Becky mentioned about the turf and whatnot, and you guys will keep me in the loop on that one, I'll let you know what I can come up with. I do have somewhat of a source a little bit, that the guy has just giant piles of it out on his property that I'm just kind of trying to get from him, just like, here you go, we don't need it, type thing, so we might get something like that donated to us, so that's an option for us to get.
Like fake? Sure.
Yeah, artificial grass, big giant green pieces of it,
Yeah.
he's got just big piles of it all around his property, so I'm trying to get him to donate that, so.
Is that one at the end of town?
Yeah,
The eyesore at the end?
yes, so it's good stuff, though, I went and got it, looked at it, so, and then I'll get you the.
If he was smart, he'd deliver it to you.
Exactly,
Well, that's nice.
that's all I have.
Okay. Becky, do you have?
Just that the Little Pocket Park will be ready, for visitors. There's gonna be a grand opening ceremony dedication, of the park to veterans on, April 24th at 2 p.m.
At 2?
At 2, yep. The park was built with volunteers, Defenders of the Coast and the North Beach VFW Coast, which for me has been a great experience to work with these two groups of volunteers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You never thought I would be doing a project like that, but it's been pretty incredible for me to experience, working with these two groups, so.
So is that considered an adopted park, or is that just a city park that the city will maintain?
It'll be a city park that the city will maintain, yeah, so.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the clam.
That's the other thing, yeah, is
Clam's coming
the
up.
razor clam, that was donated to the city has been living in the public works yard for a couple of years and just sitting back there. And
Yeah.
luckily it's aged really well compared to the whale that's been sitting and kind of rotting from the underside up that we found when we moved it. It had been the big whale in the convention center, but the razor clam had been doing really well, but it had just been sitting in the back of the collections yard, water collections yard, nobody could. That's gonna be at the park.
That's cool.
Which is gonna be great, and everybody will be able to see it, yeah. And then, the Sons of the American Revolution are donating a bench, and that's gonna be placed at the park at the lower level, and that will face the clam, and the hiking trail and the beach. And they're doing, the Sons, the 24th, yeah, and it's the Sons of the American Revolution that are hosting and doing the big dedication ceremony. They're here that whole week,
That's
between
really cool.
Westport, Ocean Shores, and doing a lot of events, so.
And that was 2 o'clock on the
2 o'clock, yeah, on the 24th.
I need to be there. I forgot, thank you for saying bench. So even though the foundation had done benches last year over at Chinook Park, I was asked by Fresh Waterways Advisory Board if they could buy 2 benches, and we closed it, but I said, sure, we could open it up. And they purchased 2 benches for Marine View. For Marine View.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so I'm not sure if we can do 2 yet, because we.
Are they gonna put them on the
to,
docks?
Pardon?
Are they gonna mount them on the docks?
Yes, if there's room enough for the 2, if not, one will go over to the North Bay side, which they are fine with, but I forgot about that,
Okay.
so we got a couple more benches at 2 other, one park for sure, if not another, so that's kind of nice.
That is nice.
Oh, and then also the High Dunes Trail, the sidewalk that from the Shiloh that just ended.
Yes,
That started this week to complete that sidewalk to go where it just ended, to complete it to the High Dune Trail.
Over there on
That's great.
Damon?
The Chance Alamar Beach approach, right there, no, the Chance Alamar Beach
Oh,
approach
okay.
side, that sidewalk just stopped, and so when the High Dunes Trail was built, there was a lot of, asks for connecting it the rest of the way, so that will also be complete when the little park opens there.
Are they,
And we'll be restriping the old diagonal stripes. That'll probably be done after the park opens, and then there will be 1 or 2 ADA parking spaces there where the new sidewalk is. And the new sidewalk will have a ramped area where, ADA access will be up to that sidewalk for the High Dunes Trail. So we'll get that all, it'll all be done there.
that's great.
is there a plan on the north end of the Dunes Trail?
Not yet,
Off of
not yet.
It's in the comp plan though.
It is, yeah, future goals.
Oh,
Future.
Page 894.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my.
It's in there.
don't hold your breath.
It's in the appendix, keep reading.
I would love to see it go all the way to the casino and then all the way to the jetty. I mean, dreams, right?
Because they would benefit.
I know.
Yeah.
I'd love to ride my
Pretty
bike the
cool.
whole length.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
Would be great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank
All
you.
right, Richard, do you have anything?
I do have a little bit, and it's to thank the Parks Board and specifically Chris for giving me a tour of all of the parks, as we talked about at the last meeting. We got together and it was informative and interesting, and Chris is a lovely tour guide. She knows.
I love
She knows her
parks.
parks.
I've been doing that since before I moved here.
Yeah,
It's like,
she
look at all
sure
these
does.
parks.
Awesome. Well, thanks for doing that. I
Yeah,
appreciate that. I just noticed, so I printed off, usually I print off the agenda that I actually send to Sarah, but I printed off the one that Sarah sent out, and what's missing is our second public comment section. So I apologize for that. So I'm gonna go off the agenda a little bit, and I'm gonna ask if you guys have any public comments. We usually do 2 public comments.
Okay.
And that was requested by the citizens to be able to have an ability to comment about what we just talked about. So I'll get with Sarah to make sure that that's on the normal agenda going forward, but do you guys have any public comments about what we've talked about? No, Jim, hold on just a second, Richard, hold on.
I wanted to tell you how successful the dog park in Chinook is. Even in pouring rain, I see 2 to 6 people out. So, it's extremely successful. And thank you for the doggy pickup bag dispenser that you put in.
Oh, at Triangle.
Yes. I drive out of my little neighborhood anytime, once or twice a day. And I always see between 1 to 4 groups of people walking their pets in there.
Oh,
So,
good.
because it's kind of a protected area with very little traffic, people feel safe in there. And I would encourage the city to encourage people to come there, because they are very safe from traffic.
Yeah, they're
And
great
they have
parks.
benches both shaded and in the sun, if they want to sit down and rest in the 2 parks. So thank you.
Thanks, yeah. Andy?
Yes, I went along the Green Trail and I noticed there's trails through the brush. The hotel, is it okay to take those trails? How is the winter lands or winter lands are?
I don't know.
Because we have to leave the cement,
They're
Yeah.
not, those are not city, maintained trails.
but you can see them there.
You can see they're there. Yeah, but they're not city
It's not illegal
maintained
to
or
walk.
anything, so there's not really anybody that can say it's okay
Yeah.
to take them. I'd say use at your own risk.
Yeah.
Pardon?
I'd say use at your own risk.
They put
They're
them
not,
out to the hotels.
they're not maintained.
From-
Yeah, lots of hotel users use them.
Yeah.
So they're staying at the hotel and they wanna go to the beach, they just kind of.
Lots of people are doing that, yeah.
That's what they're doing.
But you
Okay.
gotta
For
do it
years.
at your own risk.
You do, yeah, because after a rainstorm,
Coyotes.
there's huge puddles
Yeah.
in there and sometimes
Coyotes hang out
people,
there.
yeah, exactly.
And I noticed there's
Got a little
wildlife,
dog.
Yeah.
Right,
birds,
right.
so I just was wondering if it's dangerous for the birds or the people.
Yeah, I think it maybe just depends on the day,
Okay.
just like any wild land.
You wouldn't wanna be caught in there in the dark, cause it's
I
really
wouldn't
easy to
wanna
get
be
turned
lost.
around.
Yeah.
Richard, you had a
So
comment.
I always try to be respectful of my position. I'm not part of the board, I'm city council liaison,
Mhm.
but I'm also a citizen.
Yeah.
And so now I expressly am voicing an opinion as a citizen, not as a council member.
Okay.
And that is that if you get stuck on the PowerPoint, I'm not a PowerPoint expert, but I'm fairly good at, figuring things like that out, and I have used PowerPoint, and I've used the Microsoft, I forgot what it's called now, where you, not document printer, but the formatting for magazines and stuff, but.
Oh, publisher.
Publisher.
Okay.
And PowerPoint is similar to publisher,
Right.
so if you get stuck and want to volunteer, give me a holler,
Okay,
and we'll see if we can collaborate. But
perfect, thank you.
your PowerPoint last time was PPG, pretty darn good, so I don't think that
Thank you.
my help is going to be all of that necessary.
Well,
But-
thank you, appreciate that. Okay, so, next is park inspection report. So what we do is we divide up the parks among the board members and we just walk around and inspect them. And if there's a problem, we then just let Public Works know that, hey, the tree fell or a bench was broken or something, whatever it is, right? Or the park looked great, so no issue there. So, I will reassign parks now. That we have more, yeah, it's an ongoing thing, Chris, but,
Good work, any work.
I know Sean obviously got off, so I'm not really sure about his parks. He will usually email me if there's an issue, so he didn't. I did go by the skate park though, and the squeegee and the broom are still there.
Yay.
Yes, so, and there were some people using it, so it was great. No issues there. I have Chinook, Spinnaker, Gunderson and Emerson. Right, they're fine. Chris, your answer to Southeast Grand Canal was, answered.
Exactly, it's right there on my list, is that question mark? Yeah, I had Marine View, South Grand, Texmar, North Bay and Limpet.
Mhm.
Everybody looks good. When I was at Marine View, there was, you might know the answer to this, there was a good sized white van with Arizona plates, and it had all this gear attached to it. It looked like a company. It had a logo, but it was just like 3 letters. And there was all sorts of, and on the back it said testing in progress. And
Yep,
are you familiar with this
that's
company
the
or what they're
company
doing?
that's doing the testing for the roads. They're
Oh.
that's
I
what,
didn't think they were here for another week or two. Scott's working with them to schedule. I didn't think they were here
oh,
yet.
Andy, you know.
Where's
who
that, the
is?
water testing?
Well, they
No,
mentioned
our
last night
testing's
at the
not
council
here.
meeting, they're gonna do a burn there. They're gonna burn some of that,
Scotch room?
Scotch Road, yeah.
Were they down by the marina, you said?
No, they were right in the parking lot
Marine
of
View.
the Marine View Park parking lot. Across from the,
Yeah, I
the
wonder if it's
berm that
them,
they're putting in.
the road people, because they're going over, okay,
Well, they're not
I don't
supposed to
know.
be here for 2 weeks.
Oh, well, then that's not them.
They're not supposed to be here for 2 weeks, and
Okay,
what Andy's talking about, I thought that they clarified the Scottsburn Bloom Char, burn is actually at the marina.
It is.
Not at the.
You're correct.
So,
okay,
Marina, yeah.
and the water testing, Pereira said that their contract said they were gonna start in March. And I
Yeah,
don't know.
they're not here this week. When they're here, either Ricky or I will be with them, and they're definitely not here this week.
So
They were here 2 weeks ago, and then they'll be back next month.
okay.
Anyway,
Or later.
they have a big stainless steel rack attached to the back.
CIA.
Said 3 letters.
FBI.
Yeah.
DEA.
I almost, the windows were really tinted. There
ATF.
was somebody
Right.
there doing something. Yeah, that's what I thought, that was strange. Anyway, maybe it was Area 53.
Oh, that's.
Would have got a new number on us.
Yeah.
So usually our meetings aren't this long, but because we didn't have one last month. It's a little longer than normal, but, our next meeting is May 8th at 1 o'clock. I will be on Zoom for that one, but I will be here. So to adjourn is 2:21. I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that
I
motion.
need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Alright.
All right, thanks, you guys.
Yeah.
Very fun stuff.